back. It took me a good amount of time to get what we had done. But I am back now to continue what we were doing beforehand. So let's get down to it. When I last left you guys, we were just about to start doing the extra deck cards for the for Crow's Blackwing deck. So let's go ahead and get that situated. Starting off, we have Blackwing Armed Wing. It is a level 6 Dark Attribute Winged Beast Synchro Effect Monster, 2300 attack, 1000 defense. Requires one Blackwing tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. With the effect, if this card attacks a defense position monster, it gains 500 attack during the damage step only, also inflicting piercing battle damage to your opponent. So basically it gains 2800 attack during the damage step only. So, but also with the piercing battle damage, that's always good. That's always good. Next we have Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. It is a level 8 Dark Attribute Winged Beast Synchro Effect Monster. 2800 attack, 2000 defense. Requires one Blackwing tuner and two or more non-tuner monsters. With the effect, when this card is synchro summoned, you can target up to two face-up monsters on the field with defense lower than this card's attack. Destroy those targets. You cannot connect your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. During each of your opponent's turns, the first Blackwing monster you control that would be destroyed by battle is not destroyed. That's stiff. Next, we have Black-Winged Dragon. It is a level 8 Dark Attribute Dragon Synchro Effect Monster, 2800 attack, 1600 defense. Requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters to synchro summon it. With the effect, if you would take damage from a card effect, place one Black Feather counter on this card instead. This card loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter on it. Once per turn, you can remove all Black Feather counters from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That target loses 700 attack for each Black Feather counter removed, and if it does, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack lost by this effect. It's a bit convoluted, but it sounds like a good effect based on what it is. Next we have Blackwing Full Armor Master. This is a level 10 Winged Beast Synchro Effect Monster. Requires one Blackwing tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. It has 3000 attack, 3000 defense. With the effect, unaffected by other cards' effects. Each time an opponent's monster activates its effect, place one wedge counter on that opponent's monster, maximum 1, when that effect resolves. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter. Take control of it. Once per turn, during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have a wedge counter. This would be interesting to see how... I would be very interested to see how this would play out in modern day. Anyway, next we have two copies of this next card. It is Black-Winged Assault Dragon. It is a level 10, I believe it is. Yeah, I'm counting 10. So level 10, Dark Attribute Dragon Synchro Effect Monster. 3200 attack, 2800 defense. Requires one tuner synchro monster and one or more non-tuner monsters. With the effect, must be either synchro summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by banishing one tuner synchro monster and one Black-Winged Dragon from your face-up field and or graveyard. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, place one Black Feather counter on this card when that effect resolves, and if you do, inflict 700 damage to your opponent. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card with 4 or more Black Feather counters on it. Destroy all cards on the field. Interesting. And now we have two uh, versions of our next card. It is Blackwing, For- Forest Storm, the Wicked Wind. It is a level 6 Dark Attribute Winged Beast Synchro Tuner Effect monster with 2400 attack, 1200 defense. Requires one Dark Tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro Summon it. With the effect, if this card is Synchro Summoned, you can send one Blackwing monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes the same as that monster's. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can banish one Blackwing monster from your graveyard or face-up field except the destroyed monster. Special summon the destroyed monster to your field in defense position. You can only use each effect of Blackwing Forest Storm the Wicked Wind once per turn. There's that. Alright. And now we are finally on the deck that probably a good number of people have been waiting for. Alright, here we go. Starting now with Yusei's deck. We start off with... Oh, yeah, let me this where it won't get away. Start off with Full Speed Warrior. It is a level 2 Wind Attribute Warrior effect monster with 900 attack, 400 defense. With the effect, monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or are a synchro monster with Warrior in their original name gain 900 attack during your battle phase only. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Junk Synchron or one spell or trap that mentions Junk Warrior from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Full Speed Warrior once per turn. Yeah, it's very much it's honestly a much better, like an evolved form of Speed Warrior. Because I remember the original Speed Warrior. It only had the effect where during the turn it was summoned, it would gain 900 attack during that turn's battle phase only. So in a way, you'd want to go second when you get that card. I guess I don't know. Anyway, next we have Scrap Synchron. It is a level 1 Earth attribute machine tuner effect monster, 700 attack, 100 defense. With the effect, for a synchro summon, you can substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner. You can only use each of the following effects of Scrap Synchron once per turn. If you synchro summon a monster that mentions a Synchron tuner as material, this card in your hand can also be used as material. If a monster or monsters you control that mentions Junk Warrior or is a synchro monster with Warrior in its original name would be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. Ah, that's a good card right there. Next we have Synchro Fellowship. It is a regular spell card with the effect, add 2 monsters from your deck to your hand, 1 Junk Synchron and 1 monster that mentions Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon. Then discard 1 card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Synchro monster you control. Reduce its level by 1, then you can normal summon 1 Synchron monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only activate 1 Synchro Fellowship per turn. Alright, good stuff there. Next we have Junk Warrior Extreme. This is a level 8, I believe, Dark Attribute Warrior Synchro Effect monster, 2900 attack, 2300 defense. Requires Junk Synchron and one or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro Summon it with the effect. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can Special Summon as many level 2 or lower monsters as possible from your graveyard, but neither player can activate those monsters' effects this turn. Also, you can only Special Summon one more time this turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish this card. Special summon one junk synchro monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. You can only use each effect of Junk Warrior Extreme once per turn. So another evolved, I believe, like another evolved card from the original source material, but we'll get to that. I believe it's still in this deck, but we'll get to that when we get to that, if that is the case. Next, we have Scrap Warrior. It is a level 3 Earth Attribute Warrior Synchro Effect monster. 1700 attack, 100 defense. With the effect, I should say, requires Scrap Synchron and one or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro Summon it. With the effect, monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or are a Synchro monster with Warrior in their original name cannot have their activated effects negated except Scrap Warrior. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can take one Junk Synchron or one card that mentions Junk Warrior from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Scrap Warrior once per turn. Alright. Next we have Anchor Bolt Hedgehog. It is a level 2 Earth Attribute Machine Effect monster. 800 attack, 800 defense. With the effect, if you control Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it, except Anchor Bolt Hedgehog, and this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon this card in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Anchor Bolt Hedgehog once per turn. So, another evolved form from Quillbolt Hedgehog, which I do have a card of in my player S and X starter decks from when I got the 2-player deck, but yeah. Anyway, next we have Crossroad Sonic Chick. It is a level 1 Earth Attribute Winged Beast Effect monster. 300 attack, 300 defense, with the good amount of stuff on this card. The effects being, if a tuner or tuners is sent to your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was sent, or hand, even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then, if Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it, except this card, is on the field, you can change all monsters your opponent controls with a 1900 or more attack to defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck, except Synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Crossroad Sonic Chick once per turn. So it's a very big improvement from the original Sonic Chick, which only had the effect of not being destroyed by battle by monsters with 1900 or more attack. I'll put this with the other draft cards because that was next, but I'll go ahead and put it with the other draft cards so that way we don't get all kinds of confused about all these cards, where they're going or whatever. Anyway, next up, we have 2 copies of this next card, and it is the classic Junk Synchron, a card that has been in Yusei's deck from the very beginning. It is a level 3 Dark Attribute Warrior Tuner Effect monster, 1300 attack, 500 defense. With the effect, when this card is normal summoned, you can target one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in defense position, but negate its effects. Seems simple enough, really, when you think about it. Alright. Next, we have Wheel Synchron. It is a level 5 Light Attribute Machine Tuner Effect monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense. With the effect, if this card you control is used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. You can only use each effect. You see, you can. That doesn't mean you will. When you see can, that means that's a choice. But when it says treat it, but when it just says treat it as a non-tuner, then you're forced to do that. But if that were the case, why would it be a tuner? You might as well just take the tuner part of it out. But anyway, you can only use each of the following effects wheel synchron once per turn. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one level 4 or lower monster. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except synchro monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one synchro monster you control, reduce its level by up to 4. So basically, you go from banish card from the target one synchro monster you control, reduce its level by up to 4. So you could reduce it as many from 1 to 4 levels, depending on what you want to do there. But anyway, next up we have 3 copies of this next card. It is Stardust Synchron. It is a level 4 light attribute machine tuner effect monster. 1500 attack, 1000 defense. With the effect, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you contribute 1 monster. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except synchro monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Stardust Dragon. You can only use each effect of Stardust Synchron once per turn. Sounds simple enough, don't you think? Next, we have Revolution Synchron. It is a level 3 Earth attribute, machine tuner effect monster. 900 attack, 1400 defense. With the effect, if you synchro summon a power tool monster or a level 7 or 8 dragon monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. You can only use this effect of Revolution Synchron once per turn. If you control a level 7 or higher synchro monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, its level becomes 1. You can only use this effect of Revolution Synchron once per duel. So that's 3 cards, 1 in each deck, that has a per duel effect. Interesting. Hello, hello again, Daniel Berry. How you doing tonight? Happy Friday to you as well. Next, we have Satellite Synchron. It is a level 2 Dark Attribute Machine Tuner effect monster with 700 attack and 100 defense. With the effect, if a monster or monsters is special summoned from your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you have a synchro monster with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in its original name on your field or graveyard, you can make this card's level become 4 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Satellite Synchron once per turn. Alright. Next we have Assault Synchron. It is a level 2 Dark Attribute Machine Tuner effect monster. 700 attack, 0 defense. With the effect, during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 damage. Also, while it is face up in the monster zone, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except synchro monsters. If a face-up dragon synchro monster or monsters you control is tributed or banished, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of those monsters. Special summon it. You can only use each effect of Assault Synchron once per turn. Alright. Next we have Jet Synchron. It is a level 1 machine tuner effect monster, 500 attack, 0 defense. With the effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the field. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 1 Jet Synchron effect per turn, and only once that turn. I'm going to assume it's because of how the card text is played, that if it wasn't done that way, it could potentially be broken. Got it. Alright. Next we have one, two, three copies of this next card, and it is Junk Converter. It is a level 2 Earth Attribute Warrior Effect Monster, 400 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, you can discard this card and one tuner. Add one synchro monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target one tuner in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. You can only use each effect of Junk Converter once per turn. Alright? Next we have Doppel Warrior. It is a level 2 Dark Attribute Warrior Effect monster, 800 attack, 800 defense. With the effect, when a monster or monsters is special summoned from your graveyard, except in the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon two Doppel tokens. Warrior Dark level 1, attack 400, defense 400, in attack position. Alright. Next we have two copies of this next card, and it is another popular one alongside the likes of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Effect Veiler. It is a level 1 light and I'm just saying this in case there's somebody that doesn't know about this card. It is a level 1 light attribute spellcaster tuner effect monster, 0 attack and 0 defense. With the effect, during your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate the effects of that face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Yeah, there's a reason why it's very popular. I don't need to explain why. Next, speaking of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, that's actually next. We already did talk about this card earlier in the first bit, but in case you did not watch that, it is a level 3 Fire Attribute Zombie Tuner Effect Monster, 0 attack, 1800 defense. With the effect, when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate that effect. Add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring once per turn. This is one of those cards that is probably in just about everybody's deck. Good number of people, as a matter of fact, if I'm being honest, but we shall see. Next, we have Molcharmi Purulia. It is a level 4 water attribute agua effect monster with 100 attack, 600 defense. With the effect, if you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card. Apply these effects this turn. 1. Each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters from the hand, immediately draw one card. 2. Once during this end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls, plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number in your hand equals the number of your opponent controls plus 6. You can only activate one other Molcharmi monster effect the turn you activate this effect. Alright. Now it's time for the spell cards, and we have two copies of this first one. And it is, on your mark, get set, duel. It is a continuous spell card with the effect. When this card is activated, if you control no other cards, you can add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn during your standby phase, place one signal counter on this card. You can remove two signal counters from your field and send this face-up card to the graveyard. Draw two cards, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Again, it's like Graceful Charity, but with one card less on both parts. You can only activate one on your mark, get set, duel per turn. Yep. Alright, next we have three copies of this next card, and it is Tuning. It is a regular spell card with the effect. Add one synchron tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So it's a mixed bag of good stuff to start out, not so good ending, but sometimes cards like these have drawbacks that are worth it. Anyway, next we have Duelist Genesis. It is a regular spell card with the effect. If you have a tuner in your field or graveyard, add one synchro spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Duelist Genesis per turn. Simple and sweet and to the point, gotta like it. Next, we have Synchro Rumble. It is a regular spell card with the effect. Target one tuner or one level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except synchro monsters. If a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster or monsters or Crimson Dragon you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only activate one Synchro Rumble per turn. Next, we have Clashing Souls. It is a quick play spell card with the effect. During damage calculation, if your attack position monster battles an opponent's attack position monster with higher attack, the controller of the battle monster with lower attack can pay 500 life points for their monster to gain 500 attack during damage calculation only. Then keep repeating this effect until the player chooses not to pay life points. Neither player takes any battle damage from that battle. Also, after damage calculation, if any player's monster would be destroyed by that battle, send all cards that player controls to the graveyard instead. That sounds a bit convoluted based on how this is worded. It's kind of convoluted to me, but maybe somebody else knows it much better than I do. Yeah. Anyway, next up we have Scrap Fist. It is a quick play spell card with the effect. Target one junk warrior you control. If it battles an opponent's monster this turn while you control it, apply these effects. 1. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. 2. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. 3. Double any battle damage your opponent takes. 4. It cannot be destroyed by battle. 5. Destroy the opponent's monster that battled it at the end of the damage step. Interesting stuff right there, if I'm being perfectly honest. Next, we have 1 for 1. It is a regular spell card with the effect. Send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. Sounds about right. Alright. Next, we have Scrapyard. It is a regular spell card with a very simple effect. Add one scrap tuner from your deck to your hand. Yeah, enough said. Next, we have Called by the Grave. I did talk about this earlier, but just in case you didn't watch the part in question, it is a quick play spell card with the effect. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. Enough said. Next we have Crossout Designator. It is a quick play spell card with the effect. Declare one card name. Banish one of that declared card from your main deck, and if you do, negate its effects as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of cards with the same original name until the end of this turn. You can only activate one Crossout Designator per turn. Now I know that this is like a sequel or some kind of thing for the Nobleman of Crossout, because I recognize this card the person that's on this card. I recognize him for being on that card that I just mentioned, Nobleman across out. I don't quite exactly remember the effects of that card, but I do remember that it was a thing. Anyway, next we have Forbidden Droplet. It is a quick play spell card with the effect: send any number of other cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Choose that many effect monsters your opponent controls, and until the end of this turn, their attack is halved. Also, their effects are negated. In response to this card's activation, your opponent cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original type, monster, spell, trap, as the cards sent to the graveyard to activate this card. You can only activate one Forbidden Droplet per turn. I think that's enough said. Next up we have, next we're going into the trap cards. We start off with One Way Synchro. This is a regular trap card with the effect: take one level 1 tuner from your deck or graveyard and either add it to your hand or special summon it. If you control Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it and this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use one-way synchro effect per turn and only once that turn. I mean, really makes sense when you think about the effects there. Next we have Synchro Zone. It is a continuous trap card with the effect: neither player can declare attacks except with Synchro monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Synchro Zone once per turn. If a non-tuner Synchro monster or monsters is sent to your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, special summon it, and if you do, it is treated as a tuner. During your opponent's main phase, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro summon using monsters you control as material. Alright. We did talk about this next card earlier, but just in case, but like I said before, just in case, I'll go ahead and talk about it. Next up we have Infinite Impermanence. This isn't like the one deck that had 2 copies of it, which I think was the Akiza's deck. But anyway, it is a regular trap card with the effect: target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell trap effects in this column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. There's a reason why people love it so much. Alright, next we have Junk Warrior. It is a level 5 Dark Attribute Warrior Synchro effect monster. 2300 attack, 1300 defense. With the effect, requires Junk Synchron and one or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro summon it. With the effect, if this card is Synchro summoned, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all level 2 or lower monsters you currently control. Next we have Junk Speeder. It is a level 5 Wind Attribute Warrior Synchro effect monster, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. Requires one Synchron tuner or one or more non-tuner monsters to Synchro summon it. With the effect, if this card is Synchro summoned, you can special summon as many Synchron tuners as possible with different levels from your deck in defense position. You cannot special summon from the extra deck except Synchro monsters the turn you activate this effect. When an attack is declared involving this card that was Synchro summoned this turn and another monster, you can make this card's attack become double its original attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Junk Speeder once per turn. Alright. Next we have Stardust Dragon. One of Yusei's best monsters. It is a level 8 Wind Attribute Dragon Synchro effect monster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Requires one tuner, 1+ non-tuner monsters. With the effect, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card or cards on the field, click effect, you contribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Stardust Dragon A no one's school there. Next we have Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. It is a level 8 wind attribute dragon synchro effect monster with 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Requires 1 tuner, 1 plus non-tuner monsters. With the effect, if this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower tuner from your graveyard. During the main phase, quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon, synchro summon using monsters you control as material. For the rest of this turn, the monsters synchro summoned by this effect are unaffected by opponent's activated effects. You can only use each effect of Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon once per turn. Alright. Next we have Formula Synchron. It is a level 2 light attribute machine synchro tuner effect monster. 200 attack, 1500 defense. Requires 1 tuner, 1 plus non-tuner monster. With the effect, when this card is synchro summoned, you can draw 1 card. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon this using this card you control. Alright. Next we have Stardust Warrior. I believe it is this one. So it is a level 10 wind attribute warrior synchro effect monster. Requires 1 tuner synchro monster, 1 plus non-tuner synchro monsters. With the effect, if you're yeah, by the way, it has 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Anyway, if your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, quick effect, you can tribute this card, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy the monster or monsters. During the end phase of this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle or by the face-up card you can control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect. You can special summon 1 level 8 or lower level 8 or lower warrior speed synchro monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Next we have Shooting Star Dragon. It is a level 11, it looks like. Wind attribute dragon synchro effect monster with 1300 attack, 2500 defense. With the effects requiring 1 tuner synchro monster and Stardust Dragon there. The effect being once per turn, you can excavate, I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, we're moving on. I don't barely read what it's saying, to be honest. Once per turn, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, shuffle them back in, and also the child's maximum number of attacks per battle. Plus, this team agrees to the number of counters or something, I don't know. Or tuners excavated. Once per turn, when a coward or effect is activated that would destroy a card or cards on the field, quick effect, You can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Once per turn, when your opponent's monster decides or declares uh, hold on a second. I can't read this very well, so I'll just start off here. So, let's see here. Yeah, I think I know where I'm at. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card or cards on the field, quick effect, you can negate the effect, and if you do, destroy it. Once per turn, when the opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate that attack. Once per turn during during the end phase, if this card was haunted by the effects this turn, uh, super super summon this card. Yeah, that was a lot of a hassle. This card also has 1300 attack, 2500 defense. And now finally we have, oh my god, that's a lot of text there. Uh, Crimson Dragon. It is a level 12 Dragon Synchro Effect monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. With the effect, if this card is special summoned, you can add one spell trap that mentions Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand. Quick effect, you can turn on one level 7 or uh, higher uh, Sinjiro monster on the field, except Crimson Dragon, returning this card up the extra deck. And if you do, special summon one Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level of a tangerine. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Special summon one Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster. This is treated as a suicide. Alright. Yeah, alright. So that is all of them, actually. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and stop it there. They kind of went on for about an hour, almost hour and a half, maybe, if I'm being generous. But either way, yeah, that's all the decks here. With that being said, I don't got much to say, so I'll just say, actually, how about I turn my camera around so you guys can see me better. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Force Waffle, signing off.